Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Star. Today, we're doing another NFL mock draft. Today, we're about a little bit less than 24 hours out from the deadline for underclassmen to declare. So, this should be pretty accurate to who's coming in and who's staying. So, here we go. So, the first pick in the draft, obviously he hasn't officially declared yet, but assuming he does, the first pick is going to be a no-brainer, at least for now. Caleb Williams at 1.
Yeah, that pick's a pretty easy decision there. Obviously, Caleb Williams. I've seen mocks with Drake May going first, but the thing with Drake May is that he is more of a pocket passer, whereas Caleb Williams' appeal to other teams would be his Mahomes type, escaping the pocket and just creating openings for his team. Obviously, two very talented quarterbacks with Drake May and Caleb Williams. So with this second pick, it's going to be Drake May. Commanders finally get their solidified QB1 for the first time in quite some time.
For sure. Maybe they'll finally get above, 3,000 passing yards. They've only had one or two guys go over.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
all right.
Yeah. So picks 1 and 2 should be both quarterbacks, and I assume we're gonna see something similar here at the Patriots, as Mac Jones is clearly not the answer. And he's not a new coach. He was the coordinator there beforehand, but even so, I can't imagine that the new coaching staff is going to want to stick with Mac Jones. So I think they are going to. I'd say it's a bit of a reach, but I'd still think they're going to go with Heisman winner Jayden Daniels at 3 here. Just because that provides an aspect that the Patriots haven't had, and certainly not this century, of just mobility and being able to get out of the pocket and make a play, and provide something exciting for the new coaching staff.
Yeah, so I like that pick. I think his upside is very high. Kind of like the Anthony Richardson pick of last year, high upside.
Yeah, definitely a lower floor than either the first two guys picked, and probably a lower floor than a guy like Michael Penix. But I feel like he has the higher upside, especially in the Patriots system.
Yeah, I think Jayden Daniels is basically the more college successful quarterback of Anthony Richardson, basically.
I can see that.
Anyway, moving on to this fourth pick, going with the generational wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr., son of Marvin Harrison, just absolute mauler. He and Malik Nabers are the top 2 wide receivers in this draft class. Both put up similar numbers. Somehow, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the more popular name. So obviously, he's going to go first, as he should. But Malik Nabers really put up great numbers. But I think the safer pick here would be Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is definitely in my opinion, the more polished guy, whereas Nabers is more of he's going to get you. Malik Nabers has a slightly higher upside than Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a lot more likely to succeed than Malik Nabers.
Right.
So at 5, and I think there's another stack here. I think that the Chargers try and give Justin Herbert some weapons. They go Malik Nabers here, just try to build that core up, and I think that they just need to do that because their line is not bad. They just have issues with, they need to build up the team. I also wouldn't be surprised if they fall in love with a defensive player here before the draft starts. I wouldn't be surprised if they go with him. But at least for now, I think that Malik Nabers make a lot of sense there.
All right, for this next pick, I would not be surprised if Jayden Daniels potentially fell to this pick. I know it hasn't really been discussed much in other mocks. If Jayden Daniels falls to the 6th, I don't see any doubt in my mind of a potential quarterback pick here for the Giants, and just sit him behind not Mac Jones. What am I thinking?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. But obviously he's not here. I would have loved Malik Nabers for the Giants, but I got to go Joe Alt here for the Giants. I mean, Joe Alt, Alou, Fashanu, or not Alou,
Sean.
Top two tackles,
By
intermatch.
far.
I think Alt is the more polished, whereas Alou has the higher upside, but is still a little more raw. I like Alou slightly better, but for this case, I think the Giants would want the more NFL ready. Move him to left tackle, and yeah, you got yourself a young line there in New York. So
And he isn't named Andrew Jones or Andrew Thomas, so
just move him to guard.
move him to the waiver wire. So up next, I think the Titans should be running to the podium to make this pick. I don't think they hear offers. I don't think they hear any of that. I think they take Olu here because the Titans have allowed today. The Titans allowed more sacks from the left tackle position this year than Laremy Tunsil has in his entire career, and that was fairly indicative of what the Titans were this year. The major problem is, and it's going to be a major problem going forward, is protecting the future quarterback, whether that's Will Levis or whether that's another quarterback that they go with after this year. They need to protect them to give them a fair shot.
Yep, and Alou, fun fact, hasn't allowed a sack in college in 2 years, 2 college seasons, which is just an unbelievable stat. Him and Peter Skronsky on the left side are just going to be absolutely, assuming they take Alou, are going to actually be like insane together. So moving on to this Falcons pick. Last year you took Bijan first round. Did okay. Obviously, wide receiver is a need. And another situation where if a quarterback like Jaden Daniels fell here, I would take him in a heartbeat. But, man, this is tough. I'm going to reach here. I think Rome Monduze would be a great pick here for Falcons. Just give whoever their quarterback next year is going to be a solid weapon to pair with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and just get him the weapons he needs to be successful. Might be questionable for some people, but
yeah, I can definitely see them going with that here. Obviously they already have a wealth of weapons on that offense. I wouldn't be shocked if they go for a guy like Cooper DeJean here, but honestly, they need to build a lot. Like outside of Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, they really don't have that many guys I consider threats right now. And yeah, but for sure, I think they would also go with a quarterback if one fell here, but I don't think they really fall in love with any guys on the board. So up next, we got the Bears picking number 9. So this board is they're sitting back and they're laughing because now they have their second top 10 pick of the draft. They're looking at it as, we have a lot. Obviously, they have a lot they need to build on, but they've already got their franchise quarterback. They probably would have loved to get Rome here, but I don't think they can complain that much about not. I think they go with. I could see Cooper DeJean or Newton here, but I think they end up going with Talizi Fuaga from Oregon State, just trying to shore up that line, which was absolutely terrible this year, and just trying to move forward with a upgraded line, new quarterback, and probably going after some linemen or some wide receivers in free agency.
All right, moving on to the Jets. I'm going to go with the offensive tackle out of Alabama, J.C. Latham, the right tackle. Put him at right tackle. He's absolutely just locked down. I would not say he's a top 10 draft pick. I think he has the potential, his potential is high. I don't think his talent right now is top 10, but I think for just building him up, I think this would be a good pick for him. I don't know. I think
I don't think he is one of the better developmental tackles in this, and the Jets, while they're not necessarily a developing team right now, they definitely need to be looking towards the future because realistically, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be around for much longer. Most of their core, they're probably all in next season, maybe the season after that, and then they're in a rebuild. So I think getting a tackle of the future is definitely a positive here. So I think up next with the Vikings, they'd love to go with one of the quarterbacks, but I don't think that really makes sense for them here. Instead, I think they go Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. They need presence on defense. One of their major problems this year was their defense, especially their secondary, just getting torched week in and week out. And I think getting a lock-on corner like Cooper is going to help them develop that defense.
Yeah, so moving on. I don't love any of the quarterbacks here going top 15. For the Broncos, obviously I could see a potential like off-season trade up to the top 10 for like one of those top 3 names, but here I'm probably just going to go ahead and give them Nate Wiggins, DB out of Clemson.
Yeah, and this is definitely a strong class for defensive backs, and I think that those are 2 of the strongest guys out of the class, and I think that you can probably lock in that they'll be first-round picks and definitely be a good call, getting their names called early.
Yeah.
All right, so up next we got the Raiders, another team that needs a lot of help, just generally across the board. They probably would have loved to go with one of the tackles, but all 4 of probably the first round tackles are off the board already. Maybe Amarius, they might want to reach here on Amarius Mims, but I don't see him going this early in the first round. Probably more in the back end of it. I think for now they have to look at go a guy like Jazon Newton, just out of Illinois, just try to add to that line, get help Max Crosby out and just keep developing that team, because that team right now is probably in the middle of the rebuild, needs to build up the team around their players, and he could be a stud for a while to come.
All right, moving on to the Saints. I'm going to give them Dallas Turner here out of Alabama. Had some high, there were a lot of people high on him early in this draft season, more of like the prior to the season, but he still has that upside. Kind of didn't have the season everyone was expecting, but still a very high upside guy and absolute mauler. So I'm going to go with him to the Saints here at 14.
All right, so next we got the Colts, and I think they would have loved to go over the lineman. They would have loved to go with one of the wide receivers early in the draft, but I think right now they have to be looking at a guy. I think they have to be looking at Jared Verse as their guy. He was absolutely dominant this year, a major part of FSU's success in the regular season and their conference championship game. I don't think they come anywhere close to their undefeated regular season without him, and I just think he could be an absolute game wrecker for any team off the edge.
All right, here at 16 we have the Seattle Seahawks, and here I was gonna go with Jared Verse, but I think they can settle for Latu here from out of UCLA. Again, another one of those edge rushers that didn't have the season that they were expected to have, but here at 16 I think would be a safe pick for him, and with that young defense that Seattle's building there, I think he would fit right in.
Yeah, there's definitely some issues in his game, but I think on a team that's proved to be as solid developing players as they have been, I don't think you can really go wrong there. So up next we have the Jaguars picking after a bit of a disappointing end of the season. They need to find some way to revamp and finish out like they want to, and I think I think they go with Terrion Arnold out of Alabama here. Maybe it might be a bit of a reach, and they probably would have preferred to go with Brock Purdy, but I think they need that defense, that secondary a bit more. This having they got burned all season by teams that just shouldn't be burning them. Wow,
I'm surprised you went Arnold over Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like either one really works here, but I feel like Terrion Arnold is going to slot a little bit better into the Jag system, just on fit.
That's fair. All right, for this pick, I'm running up to the podium selecting Brock Bowers somehow. He fell all the way into Joe Burrow's possession. Great tight end. The problem with the Bengals is recently they haven't had the tight end play that they had when they went to the Super Bowl with, forgetting his name, but he's on the Jets now, the tight end. But Brock Bowers is a game wrecker, one of those generational tight ends that you just would love to get your hands on if you're an NFL team. So somehow falls to 18, but I see a situation where in this case he does. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he's one of the best players in this draft. I just don't think that he really has a spot on the team. On a team before this, just out of need. But I think any team in this draft would be happy to have him. Right. So next we got the Packers, and while I think Jordan Love has officially escaped with his job from the season, and even turned into a very good quarterback at the back half of the season, they definitely need to build around him. And I think they have some issues that they need to address, especially in the coaching staff with their defensive coordinator. But I don't think that obviously can't address that right now. But I think that they go Kool-Aid here because they have these needs, but none of them are really, you can't really address. I don't think that Amarius Mims, I think he's too raw to really slot in and be an impact player. They won here, I think they go with Kool-Aid and try and get a better presence in the secondary.
All right, here for the Buccaneers, I would have loved Kool-Aid there for them, but with most of the DBs off the board, although, and I don't really think running back is much of a need because White played so well this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go DB with Rakestraw Jr. here from Missouri. He showed some great he was great later half of the season, so I think his draft stock rose pretty high. And I think it is a great fit to their system. DBs are just falling off the board, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, this draft, secondary is definitely one of their strongest parts of it. You have 4 or 5 guys that can go easily in the first round, and as we've seen, you have DeJean, Wiggins, Arnold, and Kool-Aid all could go in the first round, and probably even might see the back end of this a reach on one of them, but definitely one of the strongest drafts in recent memory for the secondary. So up next we got the Buccaneers. The Cardinals. So they need to be looking at this as they need to build around Kyler. They drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. earlier in the first round to help him, but that's not enough. You can't just as we've seen, you can't just toss a wide receiver to a quarterback and expect that to do all the work. I think this is where Amarius Mims lands. I think he comes there. It could honestly, if he does well in training camp, could be a day one starter and just help protect Kyler Murray, and so they can truly evaluate whether or not it's him that they need to replace or if it's keep replacing the line.
All right, here for the Rams, I'm gonna go with Chris Broswell from Alabama. He and Turner were the 1-2 punch for Alabama's defensive line this year. Fits well with the Rams system. I think he, Donald, and those other guys they have on that line would definitely be a crazy.
Yeah, that'd be a threat for almost any team. I think
that'd be a threat against every offensive line in the league. Like Broswell's upside is there, and just unbelievable as a player.
Sure. All right, so next we got the Steelers, who coming into this, they're still in the playoffs. We don't know exactly where they're going to land, but it's looking like they're, realistically, they're not going to make it past the first round as they are the 7th seed. But Kenny Pickett doesn't look like the answer. I don't think they're going to go for a quarterback yet, just because they don't. I don't think they're going to move on quickly for Kenny Pickett. I think they're going to give him at least one more year without Matt Canada. But if they were doing that, I think they'd probably go with Penix or Bo next year. Instead, I think that they're going to go. I think it might look like a bit of a reach right now, but I think they're going to go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson. Absolute threat off the edge. I think that he could hold down that middle of the line, the middle of that defense for a while to come, even regardless of who, even on such a talented team.
All right, on to the Dolphins, who last year had their first round pick forfeited. And so here they could go offensive line, they could go tight end. I don't love Sanders here in the first round. Offensive line, I think you've got to go Morgan. Or actually, no, I'm going Troy Fashanu from Washington. Just absolutely held up Michigan's D-line and really proved himself to be a first-round talent in that national championship game against all those great Michigan defensive linemen. So I'm going to go with Fashanu here.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. I mean, that's definitely one of those ones where the Dolphins do need to start back. That's one of the ones where you can develop him in, you can get him worked in, and help him and beat him for him to be a starter within a few seasons for sure. So I like that. I think they'll be happy with that pick there. All right, next you got the Eagles. So while we're still waiting to see how they do in the wildcard round, they definitely had a bit of a late season collapse year. They started off 10-1, and then obviously didn't end up winning their division. Then the Cowboys take them instead. So I think they need to look at how can we make this better. Obviously their line isn't the problem. They have one of the most dominant lines both ways in the NFL. But I think what they're going to want to do here is draft Brian Thomas Jr. They have two top tier ones, but AJ Brown has, especially recently, has had some injury concerns, and Devonta Smith. I don't think they has proven to be able of being a true number one in those times when he's been off. And honestly, having that third receiver isn't going to hurt the Eagles, and it's something that they definitely can need.
100%, yeah. So on to this next pick. I want to name off every single wide receiver in this Chiefs locker room. All right. So we got Rashee Rice, Valdez Scantling, Justin Watson, McCall Hardman, Kadarius Toney. They are searching for that number one guy. Rashee Rice is, don't get me wrong, really good. He's just not it. He's just not the it factor in this offense. I think Mahomes needs someone like Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. The dude's he's like AJ Brown, but if AJ Brown were 10 times faster. I think that if he can continue his play from last year, this would 100% be the steal of the draft. So I'm going Leggett here.
Yeah, definitely looks like a good pick there, and the Chiefs definitely need a true one. There's been plenty of games this season where if the Chiefs have had that true number one wide receiver, you could definitely argue that their losses just wouldn't have happened. Early in this week one, you had the ball going straight. Kadarius Toney having more drops than he had catches, including one that directly gave the other team a pick six off of it. You just can't have these issues when you're a team that should be pushing for a Super Bowl like the Chiefs are.
Right.
So up next we got the Houston Texans. Obviously phenomenal first season from CJ Stroud. Most likely going to be the offensive rookie of the year in a runaway. I'd be shocked if they, his only real contender there has been Puka Nacua, and even that, it's like any other as a quarterback award. So I'd be shocked if they go any other direction. But they just need to keep building around them. They need to support him. They have their tackle lockdown, obviously with Larry Tunsil. I think they're going to go with Troy Franklin here out of Oregon. Just that big receiver that they can depend on to get yardage. Because as good as Tank Dell and Nico Collins show flash they can be, both have injury concerns. I don't know how much you can depend on them in the long run to be those top receivers.
Right. So here with the Lions here, I'll just give them Leonard Taylor.
All right, so next we got the Buffalo Bills. So it should be a fun game. Should record this on Sunday. This should be a fun game tomorrow. Some of the worst weather conditions I've ever seen in the pregame, but we should give them the home field advantage needed for them to win this game. But I think they have to look at just reevaluate their team because right now I think they're team that's kind of between it. You don't have the true. I don't think they have the talent to compete with the Chiefs, Ravens, 49ers, Eagles, Cowboys of the world, where they can be true contenders, but they're also not even close to rebuilding. So I think they need to get some guy that can set them over that edge. And I think that guy could be Braylon Trice out of Washington. Part of Washington front line that helped push them all the way to a national championship. Having that in here could be a massive step forward for Buffalo as a whole, and can help them compete with the top dogs in both the NFC and the AFC.
All right, so moving to the Cowboys, gonna go with Cowboys are one of the most complete teams in the league, but for them, I think you can never go wrong with defensive back, but they do have one of the most secure secondaries in the league. So I wouldn't mind going interior offensive line. So I think I'm going to go with Jackson Powers-Johnson because he's going to be gone early second round anyway. So you might as well just get the best center in the entire draft. So 49ers on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, even for any team, building that off the line is never going to hurt, and especially as their line as a whole and their interior line specifically continues to age, they need to help protect their QB. Anyhow, up next we got the 49ers. Obviously, they've been great this season. Brock Purdy has continued to grow, and look at their they have enough weapons on their team where they should be this good. For them, I'd say that they're probably going to go. I think Jordan Morgan out of Arizona is the option here. You just continue to protect that team. Trent Williams is great on the left side, which means you can help. You can let Jordan Morgan play right side, or even sit if you want him to, for as long as you need, and then you can let him move in to be that. So you don't have to immediately rush him in.
Yeah. So, and with the last pick in the first round, I'm going to go with Byron Murphy here out of Texas. He's 6'1", 308 pounds, and really just outstanding there for Texas. He won Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year, and just would be an outstanding addition to that already great Ravens defense. So yeah, that's the end of this mock. It's been a long time since we've done a mock draft. We'll hopefully start getting more mock drafts out there for you guys because it's almost that time of year again. It's 3 months away. Yeah, 3 months away.
As team seasons hurl towards ending, majority of the teams are already out, and it's getting fewer of every hour now, I guess. These mock drafts are definitely going to start becoming more prominent, and this is going to be the next big source of speculation. So, looking forward to it.
Me too. All right, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out, everyone.
Peace. Have a good one.